Next project we got going on in here is a outfeed table for this table saw. This is my grandfather's table saw, and when he passed away, it went to my uncle and stepdad, and they didn't need it, so it went to me. It sat in a shop, non-temperature controlled or anything like that, for 7 or 8 years, and now that I got my workshop, I can put it in here. Let me zoom out a little better. So I built this stand for it out of 1x4s and fence pickets. That's how I roll. The original wheels are what is holding up the cart. I've got some crates there and some hardware store bins for the bottom, and I left the center kind of open for dust collection. We'll see how that ends up working out, but that's the old stand right there. It was super rickety and the wheels kept folding in on itself, so it had to go. So the project I've got today is to make an outfeed table for it. I've got this piece of melamine that's smooth. It's not anything special. It came off of like an IKEA or a Walmart desk. So let's make an outfeed table. All right, I skipped ahead a little bit, but I figured out that I want it to be at 37.5 inches, and then I subtracted the total height of the existing cart, and I got 20.5. And then somehow, some way, after I set it all up, it wasn't right. So I cut another 1/2 inch off, and now I'm at 37.5 just right. So yeah, calculators lie to you. Always double check when you're assembling. So right now I'm making the legs. I am currently just, sorry for the spin, but I just have some brackets left over from other projects and taking apart equipment and stuff like that. So I'm using those to attach these 2x4 legs that I've cut at 20 inches exactly to attach to the top of this guy. So I'm going to use the black side to attach the bottom, and then these little thinner brackets to attach the tabletop to the top of it. Now, I understand I still need some sort of cross support, so I'm going to use 1x4s for that. I just don't know the exact dimensions yet, and I wanted to get the legs where they needed to be first and then get some measurements and cut after that. So I'm going to put you on time lapse and let you see the rest of this leg assembly, and then we'll move on to the breadboards. No, breadboards is the end. The cross boards, the support boards. All right. Alrighty, so we got our legs squared away. I was basically just holding the thing down, holding the leg down, and then holding the bracket down while I was screwing it, and then pre-drilling it with a Craig drill bit. Why change a drill bit out when you can just use what you got? So we got our 4 legs right there. The camera angle looks right. If it looks square, it is square, so that's good for me. Let me get my little work surface cleaned up, and then we can start looking at how we're going to put this on the cart. All right, here's what those legs look like on there. So the tabletop is not exactly the same dimensions as the actual existing cart that I have. So I'm just going to set the legs in a little ways, and then when I go ahead and attach the runners here between the two, it'll be fine. So I'm going to put this on there, see how it looks, make sure the height's good, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, there's what it looks like, just sitting on top, nothing bolted down, anything. I think that's good, and if we look and see the height difference here between the table saw top and the outfeed table, we should see about a 1/16 of an inch, which I'm sure you can see very clearly. But yeah, I think that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and put them runner boards between the 2x4s to give it some sideways strength, because right now it's a little rocky, especially being that nothing's screwed down. So I like that size, I like that look. Think I'm gonna roll with that. That's what that looks like. And yeah, these are just ripped down fence boards for these edging. All I need is horizontal support, so no big deal there. Don't need anything special. However, for this end, I have I have a vise that I've been thinking about mounting, and running these boards longer would have helped that. But for now, I think I'm just gonna say the heck with it. Ooh, I don't know. I might want to redo this and make these boards as long as this is to support the top a little better. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. And then I could attach my vise. Let me think about that. All right, so I'm just sitting here thinking, and I'm going to use you to help me brainstorm. So I can cut these off. Like I said, these are nothing special. I'm not wasting any wood. They were going in the trash or in the burn pile anyway. So I could take those off and recut some longer ones. I've got some 1x4s that would actually be the right thing to use for this, but I have these, so whatever. And yeah, that work is done already, so I could move on and engineer up some way. I was thinking like a 45 from here up to here. That way it kind of has some additional cross bracing for the top. And then I can make that piece removable if I ever wanted to put something large in this space that's here. The kind of thought process I had was this jointer over there. That guy is on its own little cart, and goodness gracious is it annoying, and it's taking up a lot of space for a tool that I don't use that often. So I'd love to find a final home for him that doesn't involve its own cart. And maybe I only need that horizontal support, that cross support for that side that I want to put my vise on. Let me show you. Oh, that's the vise I have. But I also have this one that I haven't decided if I want to keep here or not. Right now it's just clamped down, not screwed down. And it would be nice to have on a mobile cart wherever I was working. But I'm just not sure this, press board with the surface on the top is the right thing to have a vise attached to, especially if I'm going to be using said tabletop for an outfeed table for the table saw. But the Irwin that I showed you earlier is the perfect vise for that because it sits underneath the lip. It sits down here. So that makes it still good for an outfeed table. Decisions. All right, I don't remember where I heard it from, but basically the saying was, if you're stuck, just do something else. So I went ahead and just attached these using those brackets and a couple of little 1-inch Craig screws. Well, they're not Craig, they're off-brand because Craig's too expensive, Craig crazy. But you can see that they're pretty solid out this way, but the majority of the movement is that way, and that's because it's just soft metal brackets right there. So two things I can do. Number one, I can come from underneath and just give it a little extra support with some screws from the bottom. I'll probably do that. And then secondly, before I attach the tabletop to these, I'll probably put some spreader bars. Maybe my Irwins can reach that far. If not, I have some pipe clamps that can reach that far, and spread the two apart so they're uniform before I put it on the tabletop. I was considering going here to here with another board, and perhaps I should. Yep, keep on rolling. Well, here you go. I'm sitting here trying to figure out how to spread these two apart to get them uniform between each other, and my Irwins are not big enough to spread apart, and I'm like stuck again. This is stupid. And then I realized that I can just take a board on the outside, cut it to the right dimensions, and then attach it, and it will be spread the appropriate length apart. Sometimes you just got to keep moving. All right, so yeah, the board, I found two 1x4s that were close to the right size, so I just said, you know what, I'm not gonna make it perfect. Let's just let this fly and see how it goes, because I wasn't really sold on these sideboards anyway. So it really straightened it up and firmed it up a lot. Like, all the wobbliness is now within the cart itself, not just my framing. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and flip it on its side and put the top on. See how that goes. Like I said, just keep moving. You sit there in analysis paralysis and you're never going to get anywhere. So that's what I came up with. Remember I said I wanted to put that vise on. Well, if I offset the tabletop to the side instead of putting it in the center, yeah, I'll have a bit of an overhang, which I have a lot of an overhang. I mean, that's almost 1.5 feet, 2 feet. So what I'm going to do is mount it this way and try it. And if I don't like it, I don't like it. But then what I can do is that 45 thing that I talked about earlier, to give that some cross support. And then on that side, the other side down there, I can put my vise. So let's give that a try and see how we like it. All right, so did like we said, we offset the top. It's not terrible, not awful. It is stable for a cart. Happy with how stable it is. Don't even really hate the look of it, and I got a ton of storage underneath. The main problem came when I butted it up to the table saw for its intended purpose, and you could even see it just looking at this level right here. There's a gap, but if you get real close, and the power of technology, I can zoom you in and get you low, but you can see it's a 1/16 off. So that sucks. Okay, so got a game plan. Table saw's held on to this rolling cart by 3 screws. You can see one of them right there, where's my finger? Right there. So I'm thinking I'm just going to take a washer and put it between the frame and the table saw and re-screw it down. But that's a tomorrow problem. I think I'm done with this for now. I'm going to take a break and work on something else. I might play with putting the vise on here, see how it works. Because I left myself a good 3 inches, 3.5 inches over there. So I'm going to play with that, and I will update this video. And there she is. I put a 2x4 on the end and then put the 1x4 that I needed. So now it's just the right height to match flush. But it's nice. It's a little 6.5 opening woodworker vise, and operates smoothly and closes up nicely. Fun time.